Hey everyone, it's Lisa from Primitive Gatherings, and today I have something super cool for you. I have a trunk show from fellow Wisconsinite Julie Hendricks from JJ's Quilt Shop in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Now, if I had to pick a favorite quilt shop other than my own, of course, it would be Julie's shop. So if you ever get to Wisconsin, it is a must-see. So let's get to the book. So this book, like I said, is brand new, and let me just tell you a little bit about it. So what I read is that one of her employees, who is Vickie Garrett-Key, I hope I said that right, Vickie. If I did not, I apologize. But you came up with a quilt pattern each month for Julie's shop that you featured on the red chair each month. Now I think that's a super cool idea, and I wish I would have been able to see it, but I'm thinking that that was about a year ago and I wasn't able to come. But I hope you continue the tradition of the red chair, and I will get there, I promise. So the quilts in the book, let me just tell you a little bit about those. I read not a half square triangle anywhere in the quilt. So they're super simple, mostly made of squares and rectangles. I did see some flying geese, so technically not a half square triangle, but I did notice those. So I just want to read to you a little bit about what it says. So it says, now you too can be part of the club with a year's worth of achievable lap quilts. So they're kind of little quilts. They're not like mini wall quilts, but they're like couch or recliner quilts. And then it says they can be shared on a table, draped on your favorite chair or sofa, or decorative wall art. So again, we know that there are plenty of uses for our quilts. By changing the light or dark color placement, you had a lot of interest, and easy piece borders or omitting borders completely. All the patterns are easy to stitch, and many are made with just strips and squares, like I said. The most difficult thing about them is deciding which one to make first. But I did notice, however, when Kaylee and I were photographing them up close for you, is that there are some, it does follow a year's pattern. So let's get to it. So here's the cover of the book, County Seat Quilts. 12 different quilts in the book. So the first one is the one I have on the table here, and it is called Autumn. And I'll give you a good look at it. Gives you a nice size. And it is 54 by 54. But I'm sure Kaylee's going to give you the size of all the quilts in the little pictures. All right, now I did forget one thing. We are going to give you a cool deal when you buy the book from us. And like I said, it's a pre-order. It will be coming out May 3rd for the book and 12 half yards, which is 6 yards of fabric. We have a special deal for you. So look for that on our website. And then you also can get the book for $26.99. And I want to point out that all of the quilts have red in them. So that was kind of the common factor in all the quilts for the book. So that's why we picked out 12 reproduction fabrics to give you a jump start on collecting fabrics for the quilts in the book. Next up, we have this cute flag called Betsy. And I love the Ohio star in the middle. And I want to point out that every one of these quilts is meandered. So if you want to machine quilt your own quilts, the meander in the matching thread works exceptionally well to do your own quilts. So I'm assuming that they did them all in-house, probably on a regular sewing machine. Okay. Harvest Pumpkins is next, and we all love fall. I go to Sun Prairie in the fall because they have this really cool farmer's market with lots of different pumpkins, all different kinds. I can't even tell you all the different species of pumpkins that they have. So I always usually take a trip of girls down there with me. But I love the stars in the pumpkins. Just beautiful. Hazel is next up. Very mushy quilt. The red kind of pops out. Everything else is kind of, oh, I don't want to say neutral, but very low volume in this quilt. And this one is about the same size. They're all kind of coming in around 60 inches. I love the double border on this one, the double light on that outside border. That is super pretty. And again, I want to point out that Martingale is famous for their photography in the books. So you'll get lots of glimpses on how they display them and shoot them. So again, this one is 53, called Ida May. Pretty much a 16 patch, and then the 4 patches in the border. Very nice, very nice. We'll show you some of the backs here. I love using stripes for backs, and this is a nice wide stripe here. And she pieced it perfectly. Because we all know 53 does not, we need to piece that 44-inch fabric to add to it. All right, Lucy is up next, and this is kind of a -9 patch. The fabric, I think, makes this quilt exceptional. The creams also have red and brown in them. So very country-looking quilts, very traditional. Miss Honey is next. Probably for the little bee print. Bees are so popular right now in everything, in fabric, in bags, all over. We love our bees, right? We got to take care of them. Great for the gardens. But yes, another beautiful quilt featuring red. This has a nice bird print. Beautiful. And let me just point out that Julie is a fabric designer for Wyndham Fabrics, and she does specialize in reproduction prints. All right, Lizzie. Oh my God, this is kind of funny because I said to Kaylee, this is my favorite quilt in the book. And just so you know, Nick's dad had a nickname for me and he called me Lizzie. So that's kind of funny. I didn't know that until I just opened the book. So this is my favorite in the book. We all have to have a favorite. I love the scrappy border. I love the colors. I love the black and the mustard. Kaylee also loved the mustard in this one. And again, 64 by 64. I just might have to make this one. And here is the back. Just a nice taupey print. How am I doing with not making too much noise on my microphone? Okay, Kaylee?
Every time you put the quilt against you,
okay,
it goes poof.
I apologize. Ruby. Luke's girlfriend is named Ruby. So she works at the shop in shipping and customer service. So if you ever had a chance to talk to her, she's super sweet. But I love the pink with the brown and the red. Very nice, simple Ohio stars. And this one's not square. This one's more rectangle, 48 by 56. And again, here's that same printed stripe. That's just awesome for backs. I think my assistant Amy would love this quilt. This looks like Amy. So this one is called Scarlet. That same kind of color palette, the creams, the taupes, the morning prints. That's what black prints that are kind of gray. Those are called morning prints. So So when someone passed away, you would be in mourning and you would wear black or that shade of gray in the 1800s. And who knows, maybe well past that. Here is the back of Scarlet. Okay, next up we have January Thaw. This looks like mushy neutrals. Very fun, very low volume. Some are more contrasty than others, but that's what makes the quilt look like. This looks like a reproduction of an old quilt. Like they tried to mimic the faded fabrics from an antique. At least that's what I'm thinking they are trying to do. Okay, here's the back. And the last one that we have is called Grace. Now I love this one too. This was probably second place for my favorite in the book. I love the three colors, the red with the green, the cream, and the taupe or dark tan. I don't know. I think it's more taupey than tan. But this is churn dashes and 9 patches set on point. And we all probably can agree that quilts on point just somehow, I think, look better when they're on point. They're harder for some people, but I think the quilts set on point just seem to look nicer. It's kind of hard not to hit that, Kaylee. There we go. There's the backing of Grace. So thank you for joining me here today and watching all the beautiful quilts as I unfolded them. And like I said, they're right here all in the one book, County Seat Quilts by Julie and Vickie from JJ's Quilt Shop in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. And I'm pretty proud that they are fellow Wisconsinites. And look for it on our website at primitivegatherings.us. And remember, we have a little fabric special with it as well. So thanks again, and see you next time.